to the
This shape pressure to registrars not festival. To persistent pursuit of longevity and continual growth is the malignant ideology of the cancerous tumor, and this is what the opposite registrar has done to embody through gauche area and indignant pride. Should this disease continue to read, will advocacy of all registrars tasks as a culture will continue to unceremoniously denigrate this office through the selfish propagation of their own inherent ineptitude and perverse nature. Our legacy is a defenestration of Phil's prestigious reputation within greater society, past the depths of cavernous terrorism to the bleak answers unknown, down the most depraved minds we've gone of. From the depths of these recesses, the satanic call of Palamodan to be mistaken for an angelic haven, we, spurred by the light of our Saviour, they could traverse the fine light of the merit and divine, the light by the opposite, honorary Jewish, shall determine the event of preservation of these merits within the soul. Shit is more bitch. With all its heirs and successes, we have accepted the glory, yet neglected responsibility. Henceforth, from now on, to this point on, to this very moment, hereafter, in the days to come, thenceforth, and forever. This is no longer a manifesto, it is scripture. A branding of the mind of each lascivious, lethargic, leisurely, and lazily laid back misanthrope. We dare take the map of this once glorious office. Yeah. This is a truly sanctified sentiment. Go and behold it does in eager time for speaks. It echoes through beyond of those sanctimonious registrars past, with those that glories it from. This is the promise, books are pre. This war is never wrote. No registrar may propose to the last elevator 48, or there be but blood, sweat, for tear. Now, till the very last minute. Now to be bathed in the glory, wings spreading, the sword, responsibility. Thus forgivable to registrars, and reminds him to err is healing, to forgive the mind. Where's afters? Goes afters here.
Against
And now the body just saying the body goes. Godland, God. What a joy it is to cease to all this legend. Tenants that church will noise of a subcontinent goes all the fate. Quick. Quick. I'll begin to reading through the gospel for the sake makes fall. Because I see you all in heaven as you of a little girl. A girl named Alex. From a steel tenement had dared to drink and dance. The deck was stacked against Alex. Rogue, a loving for guy. But the other short king those odds, while breathing in herself and trying, she makes out like a maniac. The maniac on the floor, dancing. Like she had never filled the floor. She had to strip out to nothing. She had to sit in that chair, arched back, reach and grab that cheek, nothing and doused herself in water. She never stopped believing in herself. Even at her lowest, she still believed. Is she not poisoning so terribly she's won? When did she spend like she spoiled them, she spoiled her, she spoiled herself into that bad skill. But more importantly, she spoiled herself into her parents. Even at rock all with everybody got Alex. When the going gets tough, got both those light wires. When that stage got help like getting down to wrestle. You spin the spin profits. Though I know many of you see the strange eyes that in the range that used kerosene. Probably very much a bit of like traveling the snake to the name of this carriage. When they were clean, it was fulfilling issues. It was kind of like maybe a lost spend, but I feel lost with everything. But the truth is that last Sunday, whilst killing to Father had been struck in the river by his own mind. Father Granny Road had himself been struck by a lot, was struck in the head by our own donkey, thought he was sacred and for me. His head was pulverized, it was his name, I'd say. My name is Father Alex, and I would be tending to the flock, and I have no fear of finding out about place at being time. Unfortunately, said donkey, did engage itself in our own stain loss window depicting the immaculate conception. The then corpse, he killed it again, fell upon Scarborough Rush the system was perfect. Free concentration exam you when they try saying that. My fear prospects are looking for with other books. But that's a kind of writer, Calvin, funny through patches on Sunday. Come maybe with me about the resurrection. So as I say, it's the going get stuff. It's a million, we'll go to run it. Then we'll have a discussion moving. And just me, there's a hotter fire city here. There was fire my day. They died. To the confession box. And then you get that 3 minutes. They're going to get her fate scarred and her dildo's long. They want to keep around going. Well, that's fake. I'm typing and sure no man. Well, what about Mark's like? We can read Bible. We can relax at this after it has a team. God singing about. You could read that or share it. So it's going to be my arm for the big old games. But if you want, I can split your red seed because you can take your body into XOXO. Oh, dear. We say third. We worship the 7 that this is. This is my lava. Wait, you need a baptism? Read that pussy right up already. Those three, that's where, man. I'd like listen to your prayers. Hey, please. I think I look at my flock and they're rock. They're oh, last thing. So I say, what? Who's dropping me?
Now speech. Psalms 18:6. In my distress I fall to the Lord. I cried to my God for help. From his temple to heard my voice. My cry came before him into his ears. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for leaving the ultimate refuge of heaven to become radically vulnerable and to die for me, so that now, despite my sin, I can find the welcome of refuge in the arms of God. I love you for what you've done and for who you are. Amen. I opened my eyes to the truth of my existence, and at heaven's gates they would not let me in. The promise of heaven, eternal life, and salvation at the end bringers on earth was peddled to me, like so many others, throughout my youth in this country. I believed sometimes that I might make it. If I played my cards right, worked hard enough, fixed everything wrong with me, I could be saved. Sure, there are things this process of working with heaven is meant to do for us. It is supposed to make us better people. It is supposed to give us hope, turn us into the modern systems or church our religion wants us to be. But there comes a time that I, again, like many others, must reconcile this with the truth. And that is that the heaven I was sold by my church damned me, broke me, and left me to care myself alone. There are a great many good people in my life, the fact that I am incredibly grateful for. The majority of these people do not believe in heaven, or at the very least, do not believe in it anymore. In something to get into heaven is meant to make us better people, being more generous or kind, more honest or supportive. It has not stopped many of the atheists I know from being incredible, and it has not stopped many of the believers I know from being incredibly hurtful. The traits are not mutually associated beyond the traits of any one individual person. In communities beyond the existence of Abrahamic ideas of heaven, people still collaborate and grow up with each other, not out of obligation, but out of necessity and out of desire. Their turn up comes between putting a smile on someone's face, or their turn to a gift being the knowledge that you improved someone's day is independent of some eternal reward. Heaven is not the only reason people are good to each other. The distrust that comes from a disingenuous kindness aimed at a religious corruption does the inverse. In fact, the feeling that if not for some personal benefit, a person would not give you the time of day is inherently less than encouraging. On top of that, The religions that do promote heaven so often promote dislike for sins that are fundamentally unchangeable. The hatred of women who choose abortion or queer people who choose not to live in shame are not what I would call being good to fellow man and are furthered by the justification of trying to save people from themselves. The value in false hope is difficult to realize, a key issue with the hope for heaven itself. Regardless of whether that hope is founded or unfounded, it is that it cannot be realized, but it can be betrayed. Take a small child, for example. If their grandmother passes away and you tell them that their granny is in heaven, there are two possible outcomes of this. The child is sad that they cannot see her for another 80 years or so, at which point they may no longer believe or may have forgotten that promise made altogether. Or if they determine they too must go to heaven, spend years of their childhood desperately anxious about the notion of their own sin and morality. The further possibility here is a paradox. You cannot know if the grandmother made it to heaven in the first place, as is the case with anyone. So if the child truly understands and taught that, then the knowing that she may not have been good enough can erode whatever memory they have the woman. This is complicated, but this is to say that regardless of whether people believing in heaven are right or wrong, the proliferation of the idea that any individual person got there certainly can't provide comfort from any more than telling the child the tree planted over his grandmother's grave is a continuation of her life, whether the butterfly on the windowsill is her coming to sing the. When it is impossible to say which religion, if any, of hundreds and thousands that exist to spread beliefs to reach heaven, that hope and fear is unjustified. I always hoped I would make it to heaven in the moments that I found his strong. But an equal heart to that hope is the fear of my own human nature preventing it. The white lies I told to my mother I was hanging out with my friends or whether I was sticking out the mob, the dislike I had like a couple of classmates, no matter how hard I tried to let it die. The natural feelings of being a child were pounded by fear that I was fundamentally not good enough to make it. Would you be able to go up to a 12-year-old girl, barely 4'11" as I was at that age, and tell them that she must get on her knees and beg forgiveness or be burned for eternity? Even if there was a knife to my throat, I don't think I could. That girl that I was, that 12-year-old, was me at the darkest time in my life to my faith. A 4-year crisis that hurt my life to even not as a person I knew I was for fear of damnation. I realized I was attracted to him quite young. And twice I was convinced I could be wrong. Once last year, when first year in college, and once in school, when I firmly believed I could be fixed. My desire for heaven and the first thing I searched for was not LGBT youth groups. It wasn't Troy Savannah or Chapel Row, and it wasn't poppers. Instead, it was where I could enroll myself in conversion there. I'm a lesbian. I believed that if only I could date men and ignore that I would look fine. I could ignore that pressure myself for wherever long is necessary and never act without attraction in order to maintain my salvation. I read a dating devotional every night. The one that I read from today, I prayed for the removal of a fundamental part of me and begged that the God I believed in would grant me his forgiveness. I lived in anxiety and in fear of my own nature. I couldn't go out without analysing my own thoughts to make sure I was up sitting. The concept of heaven was a stick, and I beat myself with it daily. So I continued to attend my church youth group. I continued to talk to my religious school chaplains, and I continued to believe there was some way that I could fix myself. The only point at which I was finally relieved of that existential anxiety that consumed me was the conclusion that the possibility of heaven was not worth wasting whatever few years I had on this earth. And is it unlimited state for any person to believe that the fundamental fabric of their personhood is wrong? It is debilitating, it is depressing, and it is soul-crushing. I will not do it, and I cannot condemn anybody else to that fate. The fear of hell and the quest for heaven ruined my life for a number of days. That feeling of personal failure for something that you realistically cannot change is inbuilt. The social shame that follows it is painful. I watched people that I loved, people that I knew, or people that were meant to protect me, tell me that if they knew who I was, they would no longer speak to me. I cannot say whether heaven is real, but I can say that the concept of it is causing more harm than is worth it. We can live well, we can treat each other right, and achieve fulfillment, and then eternity will do what it will. I genuinely do not know. Heaven might await me at the end of this earth, but I know that for once, I'm no longer praying for it.
Fixed it.
All right, let's send Amy for that very fast into the Collins and intro. Please, for slide on position. Here.
Assalamu alaikum on the cup of good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, can I just say one thing? That after that old thing, totally busy, nobody to make me here. I'm on opposition, thus for I'm contentious equipment in Sporian now. I'm on opposition, I'm in favor of heaven, because I am an old student. I study, I speak, I go out. But I'm all going so every day, I think about heaven. It's always the animal rights. But the question will always like, what is heaven to each and every person? The Buddhists, they describe as inner peace and as inner environment. The Quran describes it as a land, if rivers are looked upon. The Bible describes it as a place with no death, no warning, no trying, dream. Heaven has always been, and have always will be, the perfect final end of all. After a lifetime of ups and downs, we're told that if we stay strong, if we persevere, if we earn our face, there is nothing but satisfaction waiting. This ended up belief held by man's mind, since we can ponder about what happened after death. And I think we should be grateful for that. I see nothing to regret. I think the cause of the pendant, whether it's by the Abrahamic religions, by global saints, or by curious people that know, is not something we should regret. There are a couple of reasons for this. First thing, I think it's the greatest possible lawfulness that exists to guide us in our everyday actions. Have you this time like results day? It's kind of there, it use holding you. It makes you want to be a better person and do better things. The only difference is I have a better chance of making it into heaven than getting good results. Secondly, humanity and the injured quiet is the very beginning. And the next 4 steps for us to ignore the fact the concept of heaven as so influential on mankind as long we know and influential in the best possible ways. And lastly, I want to talk about how the idea of heaven has always been one last source of hope. After the first year, well, many other first years know, the only thing that gets into each week is the online lighthouse of hope that is copyrighted. No, I think that the copyrighted after your bless. Firstly, it takes pattern and waste of time. It was even waste of my spine. This is a bit personal to me, but I'm very open on how I balance my religion with specialized. I don't drink, I don't go out of it, I don't need to God, as those people do with fashion. The simple reason is I am a Muslim, and in Islam we're taught a very specific way of it. We're taught you have the one life, live it well, live for the best you possibly can, follow these instructions for the measure everyone around you, and in the people who are worst, rewarded is kept. Thirdly, heaven is a compass that I can against me, rather than dark, overcast cloud that even might character. It is compass which tells me what to do, where to go, and what decisions to make for the benefit of myself and the people around me. Think about those basic tenets of worldly relations. We're taught to be honored. We're taught to help people really bad. We're taught to honor and respect the self. A lot of people don't do these things. They wouldn't do these things because they see no self-serving reason to. But heaven provides a deeper, perhaps selfish reason to do these small things. The reward of heaven tells people that if they help that person, if they only that goes to that, if they help that person with that book, it will pay off. They will be rewarded. These small things with low inherent intrinsic values that will add up and then be rewarded, and it will be worth it. It will be worth every second they spend helping another person. The idea of heaven gives small little deeds value. Heaven tells them that there's small good deeds adding, and that is the ultimate carrot on stick for people to make better decisions in their day-to-day lives. Why are we better than it when something helps us be better? When the concept of heaven doesn't just get into its individuals. It's been around for so long. I'm sure we all know how it raises kingdoms, empires, and sins up civilizations. You can't avoid the fact that it has been twisted across the travels, different countries, with different nations. But it makes no sense to actually say ignore the better benevolent nature of its influence. People will always do and always have like horrible things. We look across history, and at every given moment, someone is committing an atrocity. I'm not even going to these examples because there's so many that every single person in this room could think of a different blood. People have always shown measurability. They've always held power over others. What stopped them from being worse? What stopped the king power over his peasants to not turn them all, to not release them all? The answer is fear of death. Heaven and the concept of an afterlife held so many powerful people back. We look at Spain, as it was a month long, and then Spain is the traditionally is known for its persecution, known to the Inquisition. But all this was rumors, there was all this. Jews were not burned, infidels were not tempted. Not because this were the most gracious rumors possible, but these were believing rumors. They were afraid. They were afraid that if they took it too far in their conquest, if they attacked innocents, they might lose their heaven. They might sacrifice the ultimate benefit for some worldly success and pleasure. Conquest, war, and colonization is something we could unfortunately never escape. Men's power from terms they held into their heads, but heaven, the idea of heaven, the idea of an afterlife, the faith that no matter how much turn path it won't carry in the red with you, has kept these men possessed. And lastly, I want to talk about faith. I want to talk about how heaven is a people for hope, unlike ending of this. Hope is a concept our college students are very misfamiliar with. November evening on a rainy night, you think you can't have your degree, but you have hope that when you graduate, there is a six-figure grad job waiting for you. And the truth is, art students are not going to eat voted. But look for that future building nests is what gets through their hearts to run out. It gets into stillness, to depression, to vibration. That the three widest biggest injuries debates. People need so need to cling on to. They need trust. They think so need to look forward to. The concept of heaven is a lighthouse in the infinite sea that is this life again. The harsh boundaries of life are always being disheartening. Maybe you're the picture and seemed all the way to escape. Maybe you feel utterly alone and you have no way to make friends. Or many people are harvest food you need to come past your dams. I was alone that morning, 6 a.m. to meet you, and I can't you know, I stared at someone thinking, maybe I'll cut out of this rush. But heaven tells us there's more to it. Life gets tough, the that's not it. It tells us that our struggles only make up fraction of our existence. It tells us that if you get through your days, if you persevere, if you do it as the best possible person, you will be rewarded. And in that, we are told there's constant to have it. Not terrorism, but struggle. Struggling is pregnancy, it is studies, it is mental health. And we are told that for every ounce of struggle, you will be rewarded in heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, life is in all, life is in strength, life is laid to the shoulder. So why regret heaven when it gives all of us a reason to keep pushing? To end it, I'm going to add our phrase to my Anthony White. Indeed, not done yet. That is a phrase of any fuzzy are even religious. Think that something better awaits this world, and this world is not the end. That's you.
I love the speech for that very advice. This should call it's consuming the days to the size policy. You're new.
Yeah, let's do it.
I used to pretend.
I used to pocket.
Today, the lads, making recognize the law, I'd like to apologize because what I haven't recognized the law for trying to tired vocals of this here, acting as the legal's private officer, dressing up as a trad line, we're getting in a passion to but found I want to get divorce.
Stop.
I'm cold about it. I'm jokeless. Now you should not get a nice thing in the world. I'm the last late droppee, so it's a goodbye to gleefully indulged and hello to us painful errors. Today, I'm here to talk about the most glorious of all of the warriors. The promised prodigal party soon, the wonderful world of utopia, and the dream that lives, just help me so tenderly play around something wisdom, but just perfect the concept of heaven. These past few years, my giant called a small ramp to see for skin comes up its strength. And then a year later, had a small brother ruined the strength to see. My aunt's body turned against her, burst of cancer in my chest, which then spread to her back and while not turning in, is an explanation to this end. My grandmother, just this year, developed a brain tumor which recovered from, and then the cycle stopped beating into until killed. My grandfather, the day before I was diagnosed with terminal stomach cancer and killed him the week before I staged Trinity. So obviously, guys, I'm a genetic giant. Because of this unique and exciting turn in my life in the state trip, I noticed that straight into religion. I was searching for sacred comfort. I was trying prayer, I was trying fasting. I used to delirious in religious ecstasy. I was losing my mind. I wanted to be like hanging was real. That there was some higher purpose and that's something. And maybe past couple of years worth it. I wanted to believe it was good that there was a better place. I do. And I still do. And I do, in a way, believe in heaven. To me, this is what happened. This room right now, and hear me out. I know what you're thinking. That all the is not heaven. It's the opposite of heaven. It's I'm serious. I think my full friends that heaven is each other. I think that where is heaven? And no, I know it sounds like I should be on the other side of the bench right now, but be up. The problem is that's the theology. Because I think we have bastardized and weaponized him. I think we've made it selfish and we've made it exclusionary. We've torn empathy from the hinges to pursue everlasting happiness that we may never breathe and don't seek one is burnt. I think we want heaven not to be a place of love, but a place to raise our own egos, to boldly go where the man has gone before a convenient opening once dead. We've colonized him and we've exploited it. We've pillaged it and ripped every mink as wide from the floorboards. We've used heaven to justify the thousand things that it should never stand for in reality. We say that millions of good, happy, amazing, lovely people would never see those pretty gates because they didn't believe in our arbitrary narrowing of God. That all the good they have ever done in the world does not make them deserving of the reward, but at best, they've eternal ugliness of purgatory, and at worst, come to burning cows. I regret heaven because of what it carried me. I regret heaven because of what's come. I think that we use a heaven to a white character at us. It's helped comforting to me to think that my granddad was in heaven. Because I genuinely don't think he'd be happy there. In that grand, biblical stance of eternal legacy. What he did. Just confessions, my dear friends, what he did. My dad, my brother, was a private bold father. I didn't love him. Say things which he loves the word. Not in a traditional way, but he did love the word. He loved working with his hands and he loved his family. He built a house for his wives with his bare hands. He built a house for every single one of his children with his bare hands. He loved his farm and he loved doing it all because it's great space on earth to possibly have it. But my granddad lived his heaven Lord like us. I think he did it for him. I think he'd be miserable. And there's no point in believing in some great theology to be so lonely to go into what could be instead of red line, which could be the best time of your lives. There's no we could have been here today. And it's not a concept. It's real, intangible, and concrete. And we can touch it. Anytime something bad happens in the world, I like to tell my friends about what I call the endless garage and good. So here are the things that make over heaven. The small and mighty moments that mean our life is good. We hate this tree. Today, for the very first time, a baby opened its eyes. Today is an hospital. Nobody died. Today, a couple got married. Today, the kid came out to a family who were welcomed to open arms. Some teenage girl got her first kiss, and she screamed all for excitement to her secret diary. She thinks our pillowcase that nobody's actually supposed to know about it, but it's a real big deal. Today, someone to meal with a look. Today, somebody fell in love. Today, somebody met for the surrounding the entire world for the first time, and they're so happy. Today, somebody had sex for the first time, and it was awkward and it was a little weird. It didn't exactly work things, but it also was a little bit. Somebody became the first member of their family to marriage today. Somebody was the first member of their family to a school today. Somebody has achieved their life dream. Somebody lost their dream to find a better one. I can't get flowers for their parents. So today, somebody chose to live. Today, somebody chose to love. Today, somebody cried tears because we were so unmistakably happy that they just couldn't survive it. Somebody chose to think it had in today. Not the concept, but the fully fledged reality that it's within our grasp. This is why schools regret the concept of heaven. Because we don't need your concept when it already exists. When we already have it, all we have to do is choose it. So today I'm asking you, choose that. I choose the proposition. Thank you. I learned from because the end of that free on the was ours. Finish the face beside was not here.
Lord, the delicious. Thank you very much, Tom. To your presentation, it's a real honor to address you, although very briefly. I wish I could respond to so many things, so many important things that were said today. I can't, fortunately, but I would just say one thing is that as a Roman Catholic, to the extent that anyone, for example, has used hell, for example, to intimidate for something like that, I think it's wrong and I apologize. So on that side, I just don't get that out of the way. But so much to say in behavioral. Right now, I just want to basically address two common objectives or objections that our colleagues have had with the concept of pet. And then I have like a small brief ready, I call it. Okay. The two objections are expressed very well. Nice song by John, and I can't worry, I won't sing it. But you know the tune. Imagine there's no pet. It's easy if you try. No help above us, only God. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries it isn't hard to do, nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. In this song, we had two objections, if you put yours out. There's the religious violence objection, right? Belief in heaven has made individuals do terrible and atrocious things throughout history. If there weren't any heaven, we'd have nothing to do with actually, right? But I think if we're honest, this is actually false and quite frankly lazy. There's a simplistic view of what motivates human action. It should be obvious that believers in heaven don't have a monopoly on committing atrocities. The bloody 20th century is a case in point. All people of all persuasions and convictions do terrible things. People motivated by science, for example, have also done terrible things like experiment on human beings. And yet we would conduct science. So we've got to be a little bit more nuanced. We might commit violence in the name of God, especially us Christians who have done it primarily in the past. We would kill for Jesus, for example. But we commit violence now for the state, for the flag, for oil, for the bulk, for lazo type feet. By this logic, we have to condemn any word for any idea or any convictions. Why? Because we all determine things, no matter what. The second objection is the indifference to this world objection. Belief in heaven makes us indifferent to this world because we're too preoccupied with the next world. So if we can imagine heaven didn't exist, we can live towards it. Right? That's his line the same. The problem with this argument, though, is that it neither the historical record nor does Christian theology bear this out. The parable of the sheep and goats, for example, in Matthew 25, why just Christians that they manifest God's love to the poor, the sick, and the hungry. And sometimes they fail, and they fail off. But sometimes they succeed. I want to give one example. In the 9th century, there was a Belgian priest, his name was Damien. It's called St. Damien of Malta. And he left Belgium to go to Hawaii. Why? There was a leper colony. And there was a leprosy outbreak, epidemic, and there was no one to care for these lepers. They were there, on the go, no infrastructure, no law, no air, no housing, no medical care. And you went over there, it has to, but you knew very well that you might contract the disease and die. He ended up doing so, but he went anyway. He served there for 17 years. He dressed their wings. He comforted the dying. He buried the dead. He built schools. In short, he gave them some sense of humanity. Now, Damien did believe in heaven, and his belief in heaven did not distract him from the needs of this world. His belief in heaven, or what we might call eternal love, union to eternal loving. His belief in that is what actually committed him to this world. It didn't distract him from it. What he was doing, heaven for him, was not some extrinsic reward, that he does some stuff over here, and then he does it in order to reward. Rather, eternal love is when he was trying to bring to those people from that islanders. He was giving them a slice, a taste, albeit an imperfect one, a limited one, but he was trying to give them just that little bit of taste of eternal love that he hoped they would one day enjoy in the future. So contrary to John, I would say that someone like Damien of Amakai lived for today. But Damien's today is part of the largest story, which is what makes it so significant. Without Kevin, today passes away into nothingness by the time tomorrow rolls around. With Kevin, every day is actually important, because every day plays a role in a bigger story. It's part of the greatest whole. Now, the proposition is asking us to dismiss or relinquish the concept of heaven. I don't think Eckhart Tolle's reasons for doing so are particularly persuasive to me. In fact, I'm not sure if we as humans can afford to read that passage. The relationship between, so if you eradicate heaven, animalism with it, you eradicate an ultimate meaning and purpose in life. You eradicate an object of hope that also very relatively recently has provided the vast majority of humanity with an ultimate orientation for their lives, and importantly, a ground to resist oppressive oppression or oppressive regimes to the point of risking and giving one's life. Just as an example, think of all the people who risked their lives and gave their lives to resist, for example, the Third Reich, oppressive communist regimes. And they risked their lives precisely because they knew that this isn't all that there is to life. And all this has to do with social utility of the concept of heaven. Is heaven useful or is heaven not useful? But an idea is only actually useful if people believe it. And the only good reason to believe something is because one believes it to be true. Not because it's useful. It might be useful, but you don't believe it because it's useful. You believe it because you believe it to be true. I believe in the existence of heaven, not because I find it useful, not because it helps me cope with I think because we go with my life. I need to go with my life. I believe it because I have very good reasons to believe that it exists, but at the very least, that it's highly tested. This is highly probable. So I have just a very brief argument at the time remain that as say why I think it's probable, reasonable to assume that it happens. There's two premisses. The first premise, every natural, innate desire within us bespeaks of a corresponding real object that can satisfy that desire. I'm hungry, and there's food. I'm thirsty, and there's something like drink. I want friendship, and there are people around me. I want human contact, there are others around me. I want knowledge, and there's something called truth I can get. So for every natural desire, innate desire, there's a corresponding object. Premise number two. There exists in us a desire which nothing in this world can actually satisfy. Now, this is something that you have to probe in your own experience. Ask yourself, is it the case that you have a desire to fulfill my profession? For something where you have a taste of something in this life, it awakens in you a desire for the Lord. You might encounter goodness or beauty, and it's great and beautiful, but it's not the whole thing. You want something more, and this world can't give it to you. And so the conclusion then is that there exists something outside of this world that satisfies us. In other words, assuming that all natural desires have a object, and assuming then that I have a natural desire that cannot be satisfied in this world, it is reasonable to assume now that an object of fulfillment exists outside this world. Now, some might think of all this as wish fulfillment. That's Freud, it's Feuerbach, it's Mars, it's wish fulfillment. That's not my argument. I'm not saying that just because I wish for something to be true, that it is true. That's not my argument. My argument-based distinction between natural and innate desires on one hand, and which are correspond to human needs, the types of exertion that human nature on the one hand, and what we might call artificial desires. So, for example, I make food or friendship is something that is necessary for my nature, whereas strap to Rolls Royce or flying like Superman or something is not necessary for legal storage. That's an artificial social construct model. So I think most contentious premise is the second one, which is that there's something that that we all have a natural desire. There's something that cannot be satisfied in this world. If with all the good, so beautiful things we are experienced in life, and ask yourself, is it enough? You can eat a great meal, but you'll be hungry again. You might spend the rest of your life alleviating the suffering of others, but the poor are still with you, and you want perfect justice. You might have the best strengths in the world, but one day they'll be gone, and so will you. You might spend the rest of your life learning about things, but you'll never be able to see reality in its totality, at least not in this life. So the three options. You can go on thinking there's something in this world that will satisfy me completely, and you go on from thing to good, and then try to exhaust this world for what it has to offer. Or you can go down the cynical route and say, there's nothing in this life that can satisfy me, and there's nothing in the next life that can satisfy me. Or you could take the plunge and follow your heart's deepest desire and look forward to some kind of eternal love, something that will actually fulfill you in all somethings. So, if I may just one last line. Now, I disagree with John. I do. But I agree with Foss. I think he's right. He's right. There's a dying voice within me reaching out somewhere, toiling in the danger and in the morals of despair. Then onward in my journey that come to understand that every care is another like every grain in the sand. So heaven, I would say, is the ultimate goal of humanity. And I think this house to not regret the concept of God, but rather prepare for its reality. Thank you. What? I feel that what you're trying to debate absolute.
But as a result of the violence for that very but solution policy to chosen for each side issue is very near.
Okay, so I don't usually do like rebuttals, just because I'm not really that sharp, but I just thought that I like should I go. So premise block. If a disorder is natural, members of a species with a specific nature will all house. Premise 2. I am a member of a species with the nature of human. Premise 3. I do not have the desire for something greater. Conclusion. The desire for something greater is all natural. Take that as fair. I love to speak live and entertaining, and my dinner formula for speaking the Phyllis kind of make a shit-ish argument. Gladly with lukewarm jokes, and they usually involve practices to like sense or haha, get out locked or Don Martin's ass point. However, I don't reach the ladder up with knowledge really all like that. So I'll instead deliver you a mainly serious but also inherently serious because of a lot of the assuming and like concepts of begging for shouting to speech against the concept of evidence. I encourage that you love representation of the concept, but I'm not going to think this is what concept really means, but also use it. So maybe that'll stop that distraction. Okay. So what's happening is the great beyond, the physical routine death of the abode in the afterlife, awaiting the life of the world to come. Heaven is a promise for a future world, the departure from the single world of the present, and so on. So why regrets the concept? It provides solace for those mourning loved ones to hopefully reunite once again. It provides stuff for the big world, the sending glowing, at which point then, since the world will be rushed away. So why do you ever get that? So the important point is that it's life-giving in a certain sense, as the Hall already mentioned. I don't want to break up the dead horse of Nietzsche, because he's a man that I find has not said anything of kind of godliness that are or anything said better with smiles. Instead, I mean into I'm philosophy by reading from Oxford to us here. So for an Indian, the truth of Christianity is one and the same truth of the absolute as the logical and conceptual development. Hegel's philosophical system is a tripartite. First, pure thought develops itself from within itself as a creative force, as though catalytic, containing nothing in each stage that was not contained in the former, and synthetic, self-developing and creating new conceptual determinations for itself. Second, this logical idea at the end of the logic, the logical means you have thought externalizes itself in nature, and the latter being the petrified intelligence of form containing and exhibiting the forms of thought in all matter of aesthetic play or in the external seeking indifference of objects of nature. That is, the same logic that is exhibited in itself is exhibited out of itself in nature. Third, the logical idea returns to itself from its externalization in nature through spirit, through both subjective spirit as the subconscious individual, and through spiritual community, which makes explicit makes for itself what was only in itself in the logic and what was only out of itself in the nature. Okay, so what was the purpose of that summary? Well, the Holy Trinity, for Hegel, is a metaphorical representation of precisely the same conceptual determination that we find in the philosophical system. The Father is the self-same idea, the Logos. He externalized himself and comes out of himself in the form of Christ, and Christ returns from out of himself and through the crucifixion to the self-conscious love of the spiritual community, the Holy Spirit, in which the divine idea is made explicit that returns to itself through the followers of Christ. So what does heading to about this? Well, because Hegel says, this free and on, I'm sorry. The spiritual community exists primarily as inward, in spirit as such. This inner element, this subjectivity, which is present to itself as inward, not developed in itself, is feeling or sensation. The spiritual community has also as an essential part of its character, consciousness, all representations, needs, impulses, a worldly existence. Later, the divine objective ideal presents itself to consciousness as a loving, outside itself, which is given partly through authority and partly appropriating absolute devotion. Later on again, the moment of communion is merely a single moment where this divine content is not actually seen, but is only represented in the mind. The narrow duality of communion, as thus represented, is transferred partly to a region beyond, to a heaven beyond the present, partly to the past and partly to the future. Spirit, however, is all things present and demands a real and complete presence. It demands more than love merely. It demands that the content should itself be present. Okay, so I argue that what I think is explaining here is that heaven as a beyond, in contrast to our present world, in contrast to our subduction and authoritative doctrine, is a mere abstraction. Not only is it that abstraction, but it is the subjective abstraction, as he says, only represented in the mind. As we struggle to see the divine content as it is, the truth, if you will, we transfer the actual real presence of our spiritual community to a beyond, to a heaven. We take our one-sided subjective understanding of the divine contents for us and project it into an equally one-sided and abstract heaven. Training the student, however, demands that the love we share in the spiritual community be more than mere love, and that the content of faith be actual and present now in our world, not merely in the abstract world of heaven. The concept of heaven may be a way for us to conceptualize the object of faith, what faith is actually referring to in this world of despotism and pain. In fact, though, the divine content, the real object of our faith, is nothing more than the very demand to make this content actual and present. If we wish to obtain the concept of heaven, it truly is booked on all the secular describing, neither an abstraction nor a physical place in the clouds, but a living, personal relationship with Holy Trinity. It is our meeting of the Father, which takes place in the risen Christ through the communion of Holy Spirit. This is indeed truly the identity of the Spirit. I wonder, was Christ an arm or you? Yeah, and it's clearly like in front of him. The night where Simon gets stopped him, oh no, it all just it's I cannot reconcile. This is a period of small effects, and in this case, heaven and earth. For us to cling to one side of the opposite would be to miss the true unity of the two sides. For me to join the opposition, the Hegelian move, I would like to see heaven as a representation of earth in its art, as the faith and spiritual unity made actual in the world, not simply as an abstraction. Some may argue that everything is as it ought to be, and this is actually a common interpretation of Hegel and maybe for Charles too. To put it very clearly, what is becomes what it ought to be because it contains its ought within itself. What Hegel is to come to be is the thing that is truly finite, truly limited. So an example, the rock can never experience its limitation because its limitation is up and then it lies beyond us. We aren't finite beings. It must be that for God, everything is as it ought to be because the ought and the is are perfectly contained with it. As finite beings, we cannot know for the universe and everything else that it is as it ought to be. God can see things are only according to plan, given into them, but we don't actively actualize this time. We are the water and the soil and the seed of what is. This is why we can have an great idea. Push ourselves to what is toward what we freely determine ought to be. However, if we just possibly subsequently away from our world, then we are fitting the real sin of separating the is and the ought, and then the two shall never meet. So thank you very much.
And at the finishing summary by each brings all our heroes to fun stay up something or two.
Poor rabbit allies too, they've asked. I don't know, I was fine and I was thinking maybe it would be nice when everyone would not be suffering and everyone would have food everyone could live in peace. And then I grew up and we said, oh, but it's not possible. This is how the world works. This is how it is. This is how it is. I feel like this is the most brutal yet honest sentence in the history of humanity. Without the concept of heaven, that would be the only way of perceiving morality that we're having as a. What this debate is actually about? This debate is not specifically about the Christian version of heaven. I believe that dating women should be the version of heaven, not dating guys. But it's also not how the fact out the road to heaven. It is not about the religious rules that you need to follow to go there. It is specifically about the concept. So that means that this debate is highly theoretical. Two conclusions from that. Firstly, if you're listening to my speech to is sober, I can serve for you. If somebody from academic pressure space is listening to this, please let me escape from us and then fix it, which doesn't exist. I hope. So it's about the concept of existence of a place that is infinitely good. Good in a way that it is fully good, that there's no path, that nobody is suffering, that the suffering of one person is not the trade-off from the pleasure for this other person. This is good that is not less bad. This is good that is inherently good. And this is what this house is not regretting. And this is how we're actually imagining heaven in a minute. The heaven that we're imagining is the heaven that is good. Even in the Christian version, the heaven is crossless, genderless society in which nobody is suffering, nobody is in pain, and nobody is in a bad position. So it's kind of like communism, like that's it's like that. Like people understand, but no, it is not story to say that content would bring heaven does mean also rather than saying the call. Both dark side, all these that we talk about in this next part of these called those about the false capitalists thing of being is the no. You're talking specifically about the concept of religion. And then you're on bench, or at least the second singer. It's talking about the heaven on the earth. It's using the concept of capital, which is not existing on your side, to describe what is good. We're regretting specifically the concept. We're regretting having a thought that there is a place which is inherently good. This is what you're regretting on your side. On our side of us, I can still say that religion is packed up, that Canadian people is packed up, that both their religion's rules are packed up, but we're having the concept of hacking. Now this motion is asking us about what would happen automatically without this concept. Without this concept, the only thing we would have is, oh, but this is how the world is. The only version of the reality you would have would be the pragmatic version of reality. Why is that? Firstly, the concept of heaven is abstract, it's theoretical. That means that it is not bound to rules that are limiting the physical world. That means that with our words, when we're living on the earth, we are physically limited to maybe it is what it is, and we cannot help everyone. We cannot make everyone to live in good life. We're having this system in the world that is exploiting people, that is harming people, that is very, very bad for many human beings in the world. But we really don't have logistically physical way of fixing that. So without this abstract concept, when treating the terrorists, no inherent goods. But also, the world is broken in so many areas and so many things that we can't really know, that we can't even think about how to fix it. We don't know how to fix all of the structures of patriarchy, all of the structures of colonialism that we're having, all of the structures of racism, because the world has been going in this way for so many years that right now it's kind of all we have. So only when we're having this idealistic concept of having, we can understand what the true good is. We can understand what does mean that something is good in idealistic way, not just in pragmatic way of a marketability, of the, oh, but more people are benefiting from that, so we need to accept that some people are suffering.
You need to accept that some people are working in terrible conditions for you to have an icon because we are having more utility and it is the best version of the world, and apparently capitalism is the only system that works. Only on our side of the house, we can understand that there is a concept of a God and that reality is part out. And why is it good? Firstly, it is to realize how bad the world we're living in is. It is to admit all of the suffering that is happening, because we're having the vision of ideal world and not only the best and the least bad out of all of that. Secondly, it is to realize that we are doing things that are bad, because we're having the concept of morality that is telling us that there is a eternal good that is perfect and that is not making the trade-offs between suffering of human beings. Only on our side of the house we can hold ourselves accountable and not feel good with doing bad stuff and not feel good with making all of these trade-offs. And at the end of my speech, you might ask, but why? Why is that actually good? And for once in my life, I'm super great that Charmer is not a big debate, and I don't have to prove that I'm fully fine, whatever that is. But from the Thomas training, Tuesdays, that semester, and then the future of this can't get what's the training, part make it do great again. That matter. For once, I don't have to prove tangible impact. For once, I can just say it feels morally false, it feels morally awful to feel comfortable in a world that is inherently broken, in a world that we're agreeing for trade and like suffering of some people for the benefits from other people. And only the concept of patent makes us realize freedom, makes us feel that this is something wrong and makes us oppose it. And this is something that we should value. We should just live with it and fight.
You can get rid of practice, you can stay part of that. I can make to say anything.
Thank you so much. I don't think it's at the very time every exhausting.
So, but
We did it. And then I will follow teacher out through the ocean, but before I do that, I will learn to go there. So wine reception right after this, when you're just there and the heading is after you touch your own bugs fast. So in London, I've been called for the, if you agree with propositions and regret the possibly Kevin, what I call for is shout I. If you disagree and decide with opposition, you use out they when I call first. So, all those in favor, opposed, sugar. All those against. And after the proposition.